Hello everyone, welcome to the editorial analysis of the Shankar IAS Academy brought to you by the Civilspedia team. So looking into the articles for discussion titled India's Health Leadership from the Hindu discusses about the government initiatives and their ambition on establishing India as the global healthcare hub. And next article, an interesting article from the Indian Express titled With the Squeak discusses about the role of the rodents, that is the rats, in the urban cities and the risks associated with it because due to a lot of factors. So starting with the first article titled With the Squeak. So here the article talks about the growing rat populations, especially in the cities and in the urban space, due to factors such as the rising temperatures, which is due to the global warming, and also because of the high density of people in the area or in the urban cities, and how it affects the survival of the rats due to the food waste which is being incurred by the human population, and it ultimately leads to the survival of the rats, and at the same time it involves the spread of diseases by the rats. Let us see a mains question and a framework to it, and the effect of the impact of the presence of the rodents in these cities. So this is a question: with increasing urbanization, rodent populations have increased, leading to economic and health related concerns. Examine the shortcoming of current rodent control measures in India. Suggest an integrated pest management approach to mitigate this issue. So first let us see the basics. First, what are rodent pests? So here in definition, they are small mammals under the order of the Rodentia family with continuously growing incisors. So this is the incisor. So it is a distinctive feature of the Rodentia family, where this feature is known to be used as a tool for factors such as gnawing, where it helps for the incisors to not grow as they would be chewing on the wood. So the chewing on the wood would be stopping these incisors to be grown. So here they have, every rodents have almost a pair of the incisors in both the upper and in the lower jaw. So this incisors is also used for burrowing in the soil, then it is used for feeding, then it is used as a defense which can be used to bite its predators and so on. So the family Rodentia includes rats, rodents, mice, squirrels and beavers, etc. So the mammals are known to be as the vertebrate animals, where in the order of Rodentia, that is in the family of Rodentia, almost 40% of the mammals are including the rats. That is the Rodentia family. Now looking into the common species in India, first is the house rat, or the scientific name of Rattus rattus. Here they would be residing in the urban homes, commercial areas and so on. Next is the Norway rat, or the Rattus norvegicus. Here they would be in the subterranean places such as the sewers or the basements of the cities or the underground of the cities. Next is the bandicoot rat, that is the Bandicota bengalensis, where they reside in the agricultural areas and also in the urban areas. So mainly their habitats involved in diverse environments such as the residential area, commercial, agriculture, urban, as well as other infrastructure and underground areas. Now let us look into the issue of rising of the urban rat population. First is the global warming. Since there is a rise of global warming, there are rising of temperature, where there is increase of the rodents in the population, and it leads to lower rodent mortality and other extended activities. So here first we need to understand how rise in temperature plays an important role in the rise of the rodents population. So first they are warm-blooded mammals. Here warm-blooded mammals are known to be endothermic, where they have the capacity to strive in a hot temperature. So these are the features when it comes to a warm-blooded animal. Next is they have the ability of thermoregulation, where they can regulate the or sustain in the highest temperature through the process of sweating and so on, so they can keep themselves cool. Next is how they are nocturnal in nature, so more than them surviving the heat, they are more active during the night, so heat won't be affecting them. And next is they are burrowers, so they will be mostly in the underground. And next is their features such as having thick skin or fur. And finally, even in the temperature, even in the higher temperature, they have the increase of the population through their rapid reproductive cycle. So through these all of these factors, they would be sustaining in the rising temperatures, and this stands as a main problem. And next, ultimately, because of the urban heat islands, where due to the urban heat activity, they finally survive and reproductive effectively. Now the next reason is the human density, or the rising of the human population. So the human population ultimately brings in the concept of having demand over the market, and bringing in the concept of having a lot of food for the population, and it leads to food waste at times. And also this food waste will be leading for those rodents to survive in the population, and ultimately there is risk of disease spreading. And finally, the high population will involve in the increase of the infrastructure, so there is shelter opportunities for also the rodents to survive in the areas. And next reason is ultimately their food waste. So when there is abundant food waste, we can understand that there is steady food supply also. So when there is steady food supply, it increases for the population surge, that is a population increase and low mortality, and ultimately the rodents would be in their own areas of the population of the urban cities and the other subterranean places. Now let us look into the legal framework for rodent control. First is the Insecticides Act of 1968. Here they regulate the rodenticides, or the chemicals used to control the rodenticides. So they include all. They include importation, they include manufacture, they include sale, they include distribution, they include transportation, and also the use of the rodenticides, or the chemicals used for the pest controlling of the rodents. Next is the Environment Act of 1986. Here indirect control with the waste management regulations. Next is Destructive Insects and Pest Act of 1914. Here there are quarantine and control measures for the crops where there is effect of the plant pest. And finally is to bring in Food Safety Act of 2006, where they mandate the rodent free food processing as well as the food storage. So here all of these frameworks would be having also the enforcement control. Now after looking the legal framework, let us look into the impacts of the rodent pest. First is in the public health. First, there is a higher risk, as I told before, there is higher risk of spreading of the diseases due to their population. For diseases such as the leptospirosis, hantavirus, and salmonellosis. So here the leptospirosis is a bacterial infection or bacterial disease caused by the rodents through the contamination in the water. So it brings in diseases such as fever, muscle pains, and organ damage. Next is the hantavirus, where it is a viral infection disease caused by the droppings of the rodents, such as the saliva or their urine, and these causes respiratory diseases. And next is the salmonellosis disease, where it is again a bacterial infection which is caused by the food contaminated of the rodents, and these brings in the diseases, or it affects the humans through having diarrhea, fever, and abdominal cramps. Now looking into the economical damage, first in the infrastructure, they, as I told before, with the presence of the incisors, they will be gnawing the wires, that they would be chewing the wires, ultimately leads to fire hazards. Then next is having food contamination, finally leading to the uh, risks of spreading the diseases, and it ultimately uh, hits the food security in India, leading to financial losses. As I told before, through their gnawing ability, that is to control their incisors which will be growing throughout the years. They are used to chew the wood. So here in the infrastructure they are known to be chewing the wires also, so it ultimately leads to the fire hazards. And in environment, the biodiversity decline is due to their ecosystem disruption. Now looking into the control measures and shortcomings, first looking into current strategies, they involve chemical rodenticides, biological predators and physical traps and sanitation. So looking into the chemical, there are three types of chemicals which can be used. First is the anticoagulants. So these anticoagulants are known to be like blood thinners such as the warfarin, where these are known to stop the blood clotting. So these blood thinners bring in excessive blood bleeding. So this anticoagulants are brought in the chemicals or the rodenticides to kill the rodents. And next is non-coagulants, where they we can take the example of zinc, where they bring in metabolic destruction in the system of the rodents. And finally is the and next is the fumigants, where they are known to be as gaseous chemicals, where these gaseous chemicals are used in the enclosed place to suffocate the rodents. So here we can take the example of carbon monoxide. Now looking into the biological predators, we can take the example of snakes, eagles, snakes such as pythons or cobra, eagles, cats, fox, hawks, owls and so on. And finally see having a best sanitation method, that is waste management. Now looking into the shortcomings, ultimately these rodenticides have become resistant to these rodenticides, so it increases their population. Next, there is no integrated pest management control in the urban planning areas, and there is low public awareness. So looking into a way ahead, first we need to have integrated pest management control through combining all of the factors, that is biological, chemical as well as the physical methods, that is involving of all of these current issues. So we can involve in ministries lot of ministries, that is legal strengthening, updating laws, enhancing the enforcement, such as the Ministry of uh, Health and Welfare, Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, Ministry of the Urban and the Rural Development, Ministry of Agriculture, Ministry of Health and Family Welfares. So combining all of these ministries would be having a impact of the integrated pest management control. Next is having public participation, as there need to be awareness on sanitation drives and campaigns. And finally is to bring a research and development control, where there is eco-friendly control methods, where there is sustainable development, and also at the same time there needs to be population surveillance for the high density population, especially in the urban areas. Moving on to the next article titled A Green Signal for India to Assert its Health Leadership. So here the article discusses about the Union Budget's foundation for India to assert their leadership in the global healthcare and innovation with strategic announcements, initiatives, and increasing medical infrastructure and expanding the educational opportunities of research and development and promoting global collaboration. So here the budget has recognized the role of healthcare as a pillar of national growth and development, so increasing the national interest ultimately. So here there is emphasis on the artificial intelligence and digital health marks an important movement, increasing the diagnostics area, treatment, research and enabling India to develop cut-edge solutions for enhancing patient health. So through the synergy of Heal in India, Heal by India and innovation driven, there is enhancement to shape the future where India's healthcare system sets a new global benchmark. So in light of this article, let us see the impact and basis of the union budget, where there is importance for the healthcare of India. And this is the question. First, let us see the basics of the budget and the infrastructure. Here, the union budget of 2025 to 26 has allocated 99,000 crore to the Ministry of Healthcare. So here, their main focus is to bring in enhancing the medical facilities nationwide. Next is to expanding the medical seats to address healthcare professional shortages. So there is increase of the doctor to patient interaction directly. See, here the country will add 10,000 medical seats in the financial year of 26 alone, bringing in the commitment to the healthcare excellence. Next is establishing daycare cancer centers in the district hospitals. So here it is mentioned the establishment of 200 daycare cancer centers in district hospitals will bring specialized treatment closer to people and improving the early diagnosis and better patient outcomes. Next is expanding the telemedicine services such as the Sanjeevani to e-Sanjeevani to connect to rural areas, and thus it helps in upgrading the existing healthcare facilities for more improved services. So there is reduced burden on the tertiary sectors, tertiary hospital services and centers. Now looking into the strategy synergy called the Heal in India and Heal by India. So the main objective of this transition is to promoting India as a global healthcare hub. So not only there is indigenization of the medical healthcare, but also indigenization of both the medical production and its related materials. So first is to uh, increase the medical tourism promotion, bringing in high quality healthcare at competitive prices. So there is increase of affordability, standardization of services for international patients. So we know how India is known to be as the pharmacy of the world, and their role in having patients across the global. So having an infrastructure enhancement to meet the global standards and to attract the international patients will bring in the increase of promoting India as a global healthcare hub ultimately, and having supportive regulatory framework. So there is action in the enforcement ultimately. Next is to exporting qualified healthcare professionals, as India is known to export medical services, especially during many medical situations for other country. India is also planning on exporting qualified healthcare professionals. We can take Russia as example, and enhancing India's global healthcare presence ultimately. Now looking into the other factors, customs duty exceptions has been made along with this strategy. Here the objective is to making healthcare affordable. So there has been exemptions on 36 life-saving cancer drugs. According to the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, so there is a list called National List of Essential Medicines. So recently, I think in the year 2022, there has been increase of the list of medicines to be added for the cancer. So I think 36 to 34 medicines have been added in the life-saving cancer drugs. So there has been exemptions on those drugs. Next is having certain medical equipment. So for example, X-ray equipments, other chemotherapy equipments are having exemptions. Next is having exemptions on the raw materials for the essential drugs. So under the Ministry of Commerce, active pharmaceutical ingredients. So these ingredients are raw materials used in drugs, especially for antibiotics. So these are important raw materials, that is the active pharmaceutical ingredients are important for the raw materials to make in the essential drug. So for example, paracetamol or even aspirin, these are used in conditions like fever. The aspirin is used as a cardiovascular drug. So these important drugs are even a active pharmaceutical ingredients. So these medicines even act as a API or a raw material for other essential drugs. So there has been exemption on these medicines, and having exceptions on diagnostic kits and assistive medicines. So the ultimate goal is to reducing treatment cost and improving the accessibility. So ultimately that's the concept of affordability. Next is the AI and digital health. So we have discussed how AI integration is important. For example, here in AI diagnostic, there is increase of diagnostics for improved accuracy. So here for example we can take FDA, that is the Food Drug Administration, have given uh, nod to the QXR-CTR chest X-ray solution as a potential indicator for identifying heart failure risk as well as for tuberculosis. So this equipment is being used along with the Niti Aayog in India, which stands as a AI equipment for bringing in diagnosis for improved accuracy. Next is digital health records for streamlined information and management. So here we can take the example of integrated disease survival program. So the integrated disease survival program by the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare stands as a IT based enabled disease surveillance system for many diseases, and they help to monitor the disease trends and detect and respond to outbreaks in early rising phase. So here we can take the example of the digital healthcare records and AI. Next is telemedicine platforms for the increased access, that we have seen the e-Sanjeevani. Next is health monitoring apps for proactive health management. Next is the we can take the example of the Arogya Sedu app. Here, especially during the COVID, they stood as an app to for many patients to track the health records during the COVID-19. They stood as a tracker. And next is having data analytics for public health insights. Now looking into the factor of global leadership here, India is seen to be as a leading vaccine producer. For example, we can take Covaxin ultimately during the period of COVID. Next is India is a major generic medicine exporter. For example, we can take Pradhan Mantri Bharatiya Jana Aushadhi Pariyojana. So here there is quality medicines available at affordable prices for all. So the Pradhan Mantri Bharatiya Jana Aushadhi Kendra are known to be as a medical market, or it's a medical shop to affordably access medicines. Next is contribution to the medical research. So the the All India Institute of Medical Research is one of the biggest institutions, and having international health partnerships, especially we can take the example of the World Health Organization, and also with other international corporations like the World Bank, where there is the initiative of eliminating polio, and finally having humanitarian medical aid, where India is known to provide a lot of humanitarian medical services to many countries. For example, we can take the idea of Doctors Without the Borders. Now let us see few initiatives related to the healthcare system. First is the National Digital Health Mission. So the objective is to bring a building of digital health ecosystem under the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. So here there is a health ID for every citizen, digitalized health records and secure sharing, and national health registry. So here we can take the example of Ayushman's Bharat digital mission, where there are almost 400 crores ID being created for the citizens. So here we can see the policymaker, providers, private institutes, the healthcare professionals, the NGOs, and the administrations take all participation in the National Digital Healthcare Mission ecosystem. And next is the AYUSH Ministry initiative, here on promoting the traditional medicine, including the Ayurveda, Yoga, Unani, Siddha and homeopathy. So it comes under the Ministry of Ayush in itself. Here there is development of Ayush institutes and research centers, standardization and quality control of the Ayush products, and integration of the Ayush in the mainstream healthcare. And next is the National Tele Mental Health Program on addressing the mental health needs. Here it comes under the Ministry of Family and Welfare. So there is 24/7 consultation access, integration with the existing mental health care services, and reducing the mental health stigma. Thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget to give a like, comment and share. And to further not to miss any other contents, subscribe to our channel. Thank you and have a nice day.